Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Winners in the Cloud. This time another very special one as Pavan Davuluri is back, who leads the Windows and Devices business here at Microsoft. And he and I are going to share how Windows, cloud and AI are going to change how we interact with our computers. So let's get started. Hi Pavan, welcome back.
Christiaan, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, after 2 years, right? We did this as well. Now you're back and we're going to talk about cloud, AI, Windows. So
I'm looking forward to it. I had a great time with you last time. Thank you for having me again. I'm looking forward to our moment here.
Yeah, very excited. But before we start, I have some questions prepared for you. But before we jump into that,
all right.
The folks that didn't watch that episode, can you share like what your role is and things like that?
Yeah, sure. My name is Pavan and I lead the Windows and Devices team. I've had the good fortune of being here at Microsoft for north of 2 decades, working across a variety of products and technologies. And today we're in the journey of building, the next generation of Windows for our breadth of our customers. That includes work on Windows 11, Copilot Plus devices, and certainly Windows 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop.
Yeah, it's been great working with you and doing all these innovations we're going to talk about.
It's a great time.
Today.
It's a great time for our team, I think.
Exactly. And now I want to get to know you a little bit more even than we got to know you last time. And
right.
I prepared some icebreakers for this interview with you. So as like a lightning round of questions. So the first question I prepared for you is, what's the last book you read?
The last good book I read that I could recommend to all of you would be this book called The Worlds I See by Fei-Fei Li. An amazing researcher and a leading AI scientist. I found it to be a fascinating book because it is a personal narrative of her journey as an individual, but it also kind of deeply threads her perspectives on how AI was evolving at that point in time, and also reflects how AI is impacting society and the world writ large. But what I loved about the book is the deeply human nature of the researchers and scientists who are building and inventing this world as we go, and I found that kind of exciting.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like AI and human factor coming together.
Yeah,
it's amazing, and definitely great share for the audience here to take a look and read it as well. Other question. What's your favorite emoji? We use Teams a lot in Microsoft for chatting and such. So what's your favorite emoji you use the most?
I would say the one that I use a lot that comes to mind is our little rocket that's going up and to the right.
It's probably when we did something great, shipping a great feature,
that's right.
The next big thing in AI.
I feel like I get to be fortunate because we get to be in a lot of our product reviews and when teams are shipping new features, new experiences, getting customer feedback. It is a great moment to see when folks are able to crest a hill, make progress, line actual value with our customers. So I love that one.
I love it. I'm using personally a lot of GIFs. So we have a great catalog as well.
That's true. That's true, especially on Teams.
Hey, options. Other question. If you had an extra day or an extra hour, let's say it like that, in a week, or another day, what would you do with that extra hour?
Yeah, an extra day would be a real gift. But if I had an extra hour, I think I would spend it with my family, just being present with my kids and getting a chance to just understand how they're going through their lives and day and the things they're learning, and to see if I could partake in it. Yeah,
extra day would probably mean a hike or something,
extra
right?
day
With
sure.
the family.
We have the gift of being in the Pacific Northwest, especially right now. I think we'd love to be out about.
I'm hiking a lot. I just finished Deception Pass.
I saw that, actually.
So it's an amazing
very
place.
Exciting.
Yeah. Last, and this is a little bit of a personal one to me because we're on a podcast here, Winners in the Cloud, but now I'm going to ask you what's your favorite. So I'm biased. Mine is, of course,
Why am I not surprised?
What's yours?
I love a bunch of podcasts, and I would say I try to listen to kind of a wide variety of them from work and life. Over the years, the one that I've enjoyed, I think, on a somewhat consistent basis is the Radiolab podcast. And I've actually had the good fortune, I think, of actually listening into a couple and participating in them, so I have an affection for it.
That's cool. So what are the podcasts kind of about? Like, what's the main subject?
They go through a broad range of topics, and the ones I like are the ones that have an element of discovery and learning that connects, science with people on an everyday basis that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
I find it to be a fun learning thing, but also a connection back to people and real world in our lives in ways that we would not expect sometimes.
Things like outside work, but also connected to work, human related, business, all together coming.
Yeah, all together.
That's
full
amazing.
of surprises. That's fun.
That's great. And when are you listening mostly to them? When you're in the car or hiking, sports, something like that?
Yeah, I would say typically when I'm on a commute, when I'm driving to work, I like to listen to them. Certainly when we're on travel, I enjoy catching up on them as well.
That's awesome. I'm definitely gonna put those on my list as well.
Yeah, if you get a chance, I would recommend them.
I'm listening these days a lot of podcasts when I'm hiking. So sometimes I'm hiking alone very early, leave the house at 6 in the morning, Saturday, and then...
You are a committed hiker.
Yeah, that's like my habit since I live here in the Pacific Northwest. So it's my way of, you work hard at Microsoft, you do a lot of innovation, so the dynamic areas are like great, but then at some point you need to kind of reset, and that's exactly, and that's my habit, being in nature, hiking, and enjoy a podcast sometimes as well. Sometimes I'm just keeping it silent and just listen to the birds and such too.
You're inspiring me to do some more hiking this summer.
Maybe we should do one together.
That'd be cool.
Hey, first topic of this podcast. So we are celebrating our 50-year anniversary. We did it, in fact, in April, right?
Yep.
Not many companies can tell 50 years of relevant technology. And we are building the next kind of big wave of AI with Windows and such. But going back in 50 years in time, you as a Microsoft veteran, what's your most profound memory or things that got stuck in your kind of brain as part of the career you had at Microsoft so far?
You're making a huge point. And not many companies have the good fortune and ability to get to this place. And I think it is actually kind of an amazing point in time, both for the work and the impact that Microsoft has had as a company, but also for what the opportunity looks like for us in the future. And in many ways, for me, having been at the company for some time now, I actually think we're at a very exciting juncture today in terms of what Microsoft can do for the coming 50 years. For me, what I find kind of inspiring in this journey is Microsoft started with the vision of a computer on every desk, and now when we reflect back on where the Windows journey has been in the context of that starting point, Windows has evolved considerably in terms of the product itself, how customers both at work, at home, at play, use and build on the product. I think we have a real responsibility for the fact that a very, very large portion of what the world's economy does runs on top of Windows. The other dimension of evolution of it's much more than a PC today. Windows carries a breadth of experiences, and we have partners who are building and betting on the product, from developers in the ecosystem all the way to commercial enterprises to educational institutions. I think it's kind of an amazing transformation. And then to your point, and I think we're still at early innings of an inflection point where we now get to take advantage of all of what AI can do for customers who use a computer and kind of amaze them in ways that was not possible 20, 30 years ago through Windows as a mechanism for it. And then we have the journey to the cloud, which then truly transforms how we take advantage of what Microsoft has as a company in its collection. And so I'm kind of very excited about the fact that I think the interaction experiences on Windows are going to change, the business models are going to change, the experiences are going to change in the next coming couple of decades, I would say.
Yeah, it's really cool, and you highlight the cloud, of course. We have been partnering on Windows Cloud, like Windows 365 and such. So going back to that quote, how it started, Microsoft started pretty much with DOS, Windows, and the evolution to the whole stack, M365, Azure, and such. But it all started with a computer on every desk in every home. And at that time, it was the unthinkable. It's how innovation starts, right? It starts from nothing. People
bold vision.
Yeah, exactly. Start to believe somewhat in it, but not yet. And then all of a sudden it changed everything. And look where we are right now. Many people have multiple devices, like a Surface device, a Copilot Plus PC, a Cloud PC, or maybe a combination of those as well. So going back to that vision this year, 2025, how would you kind of rephrase that vision with company mission today, as well as Windows evolving to cloud and AI?
Absolutely true. I think the statement of having a computer on every desk and in every home was a high ambition worldview at the time. And I think when I think about the work we're doing in Windows, we continue to be fueled by that ambition of making transformational changes that are impactful, across the planet, across the range of customers and use cases. That continues to be true for us as it was, I think when the company was founded on the notion of the mission that we had at the time. The opportunity I think that we have ahead of us now, Christiaan, is the fact that Windows in itself is transforming at a rate that is reflected with what is possible with AI, what is possible with cloud transformations in themselves. And that reflection, I think, carries itself in the user experience of the product. So I think what human interfaces look like today and what they will look like 5 years from now is one big area of thrust for us that Windows continues to evolve. The operating system is increasingly, agentic and multimodal, voice and vision and pen and touch, just like we use mouse and keyboard, for example. So that I think is an area of tremendous investment and change for us and its evolution here in 2025. The other big area of evolution for us is the ability to take advantage of Windows in the cloud. And so, compute that's happening locally, compute that's happening in the cloud. How do both AI and compute systems take advantage of infrastructure that's distributed, and how, to your point, we as Microsoft can deliver these seamless solutions to our customers are high on our list now. And they're possible here and now, I think, as a combination of technologies and experiences that are coming together for us.
Yeah, I love that. Like Windows being available from any device with the new Windows app and all these experiences to make Windows adaptive, hybrid, local, cloud, kind of AI and cloud coming together is really changing how kind of way Windows has been working on a physical PC like 40, 50 years back. So talking about that 50-year vision anniversary and computer on every desk in every home, we just recently launched Windows 365 Link together. And last time when we had the episode, we couldn't talk about it. We were working on it.
We were actively working on it at the time, I remember.
And one of the things I want to highlight here is the momentum we had and the interest from customers. And I'm curious, how do you see the future of cloud-connected devices with Link shaping the future of Windows and cloud and AI?
I'm very excited about the customer feedback and signal we're seeing with Link. And I think, to your point, back when we started this project, I think we had a clear signal from customers on they just want a simple, secure device. They want simplicity in the device management. They don't want any local data on the system. They want to be able to have it simple in terms of how the device is actually deployed for IT folks in terms of time to deploy. And I think now we're learning through the Win 365 Link work that there's a class of customers who have real affinity to this particular device and the value proposition of the device and the experience. And it's great to see the early signals, frontline workers, use cases in offices, which shared facilities, call centers, hot desking environments, lab environments, it turns out. So it is super powerful, I think, to have an hypothesis for where we think we can build a meaningful product and end-to-end experience that Microsoft can truly take accountability for, and then start to ship it, but also get great customer feedback on that journey. And in that regard, I think, Christiaan, we're in the early life cycle of what a Windows 365 Link type device can do for our customers and what kind of capabilities we can bring through it. And I think for me personally, I think the learning of bring the security proposition to customers in a simple, efficient, and kind of reliable manner is a high value construct in itself. The roadmap for Windows 365 Link devices will continue to emphasize the need for an experience to be like local. And so you can truly use the compute in the cloud like we talked about, with the notion of Link really being connecting your mouse and keyboard to your computer that's in the cloud, coming to life, and I think being useful will continue to be true for us, I think, as well. And I think getting feedback and customers' direction and input along the way is huge for us as we continue to build out both the experience and the value proposition.
Yeah, I love that, and as well as similar kind of experience of connecting into your cloud PC from a Link device is like identical to how people have been using a physical PC, very familiar experience, but then with the power of the cloud coming together. So really,
it's one of the places, quite frankly, I'm kind of proud of the work that we've done on the Windows 365 Link team, is making sure we were making the login and boot experience as seamless as possible. So people are not thinking about multiple steps. They're just trying to get to their cloud PC as seamlessly as possible. And as somebody who uses the product all the time at work as well, I think we are well on our way for delivering that seamless experience.
Yeah, I sometimes compare it with you can take a person randomly from the street that's used to connect to Windows on a physical PC. That person can as well connect straight to a cloud PC on a link device. And if you look at like traditional virtualization technologies, that's much more complex, of course, to do.
Yeah, I think that's been another powerful signal is when a customer gets to use one of these devices. Yeah. They can't tell when they're using the local CPU and when they're using a CPU in Azure. And I think that's it's a powerful signal for us to work.
I think then at that point, if we reach the pinnacle of, hey, cloud, local, maybe better than local as well, with AI coming together, it's really, kind of, maybe I'm alluding a little bit to what we are going to talk about at the end of it, like future and such, but I think that's like the trajectory we're heading as part of the team.
Absolutely.
So talking about trajectory and AI and click-to-do, improved search, federated search just announced and are available on Copilot Plus PCs, right? Really to drive the productivity of the user upwards and change like how you interact with like the file explorer, OneDrive, bringing it all together. Like, how do you see those features evolving, moving forward on Copilot Plus PCs?
You know, going back to your question earlier on how should we think about the Windows vision as we, look forward at this point in time, I think one of the core constructs there, certainly we look at the interface of Windows evolving, and we certainly look at the interface itself becoming more multimodal and more capable based on new interaction technologies that come to life, and whether that's mouse and keyboard moving to pen and touch and so on. I think one of the transformational things that's also happening, Christian, for us is the fact that we now have these AI models that can run on device. And when these are reasonably performant models that are running on device, they in turn bring a bunch of new capabilities and agencies, to the platform and the device itself. Multimodal interaction is one component of it. Ideas like voice and vision becoming available are one construct. The second big construct, I think, is once you have these models that have reasoning capabilities, tool orchestration capabilities on the edge, you can now start building new OS primitives that in turn bring new features and capabilities of the operating system to customers. For us, the biggest priority, of course, is to be able to make sure as we evolve Copilot Plus PCs with these new capabilities, we're able to have the Copilot in Windows, have the M365 Copilot, take advantage of these capabilities and provide our customers differentiated value. In addition to that, we see value in the Windows operating system itself having intrinsic understanding of these new AI models that are running in them and take advantage of new capabilities that are based on pervasive AI models running locally on device. Click-to-do and improved Windows search are two examples of these new capabilities. Improved Windows search gives you the ability to take what was a traditional lexical indexer in Windows for over 2 decades and now augment that lexical indexer with a semantic indexer. And the beauty with the semantic indexer is it has the capability to understand content that is being searched in addition to keyword search. And so search is much more meaningful, it is much more impactful, it has a better chance of returning right results, it is aware of different modalities of content. And the same is true for click-to-do. The ability for us to be able to find users in the flow of their tasks and have the AI models then help them with the intent and flow of their tasks in themselves and reduce friction and interruption across the OS, across apps, between the OS and the apps, is really our intent with AI, is to be able to give folks the ability to superpower their productivity on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So you called out models. We have our own in-house models, Phi, Mu as well.
Correct.
Can you shed some light on, hey, what's the long-term trajectory vision there to expand on top of that?
We have made, I think, meaningful strides as a company for sure in this space in terms of building SLMs and on-device models for Windows. We introduced a class of these models last year, about a year ago at that point, that was powering a bunch of new features in Copilot Plus PCs. And today, Phi and Mu certainly both represent these capabilities. The Phi models often power a lot of the features that we see in click-to-do, for example. It powers features in recall as a capability. And one of the investments we made more recently was the Mu model. And the Mu model is much, much more smaller than the Phi model. And at the same time, it gives us tremendous versatility in performance and throughput rates and its ability to provide orchestration capabilities for us. And one place where customers have really come to us with a desire for simplifying, using AI to simplify their workflows and their agency within the operating system are things like settings. Settings is a representation of over 25 years of Windows engineering work. And now we have an agent in settings powered by Mu that allows people to use natural language interaction to complete a task and allowing the operating system to go find what those steps are and to go execute on the user's behalf versus having to be able to go do that by somebody being proficient with it. And our key here with these on-device models like Phi and Mu, Christiaan, is to be able to offer the benefits of on-device capabilities, certainly for sure, latency, performance, battery life efficiencies, and so on, but also doing this in a way that is thoughtful when it comes to privacy and security requirements, and so making sure data stays local, customers are in control of the choices associated with the decisions themselves, they have full access to the infrastructure associated with what the models access, are all principles that we apply as we think about the rise of these types of models and their use cases.
Yeah, that's so cool, especially the settings part here. So you can just interact with settings and then ask, hey, fix this mouse cursor size for me, and it just happens, right? It's really cool, and I think we're scratching the surface here on the troubleshooting side and how we kind of interact with settings in the future with natural language processing, I should call it out. And this brings me up to the next question, which is kind of the topic of this podcast as well. How is the way how we interact with computers going to change in the age of AI, cloud, all coming together, and computer on every desk in every home, sitting in front of your computer, mouse, keyboard, those things, right? How do you see that evolving in the next upcoming years?
Yeah, I think we will see computing become more ambient, more pervasive, continue to span form factors, and certainly become multimodal in the arc of time. And I think you're right, we started with the notion of a desktop and a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor. We've gone through several revolutions, several technology paradigm shifts for sure. And I think today, one of the things that we celebrate in Windows is the diversity on form factors in which computing is available for sure, between the work that the ecosystem partners do and Surface does. We have a pretty broad range of devices in themselves. I think outside device diversity and form factors, I think experience diversity is the next space where we will continue to see voice becoming more important. I think more fundamentally, the concept that your computer can actually look at your screen and is context aware is going to become an important modality for us going forward. The other thing I think is going to get more intuitive is multimodal interactions. So you'll be able to speak to your computer while writing, inking, interacting with another person, for example. You should be able to have a computer semantically understand your intent to interact with it, for instance, from an enhanced wake or put a machine to sleep. And so I think these are, devices are a dimension, human interaction form factors are a dimension. And the last one is I think the compute will become pervasive, as in increasingly the Windows experiences are going to use a combination of capabilities that are local and they're in the cloud. And I think it's our responsibility to make sure they're seamless to our customers. But the reality is a good bunch of information today in terms of state and user understanding stays with you and your experience in the cloud. And we're going to celebrate that capability by augmenting that compute in the cloud, on the edge.
Yeah, that's so cool. And especially imagine the accessibility improvements for people that have difficulties with using keyboard and mouse these days, right? With voice, like Mattis and such, it's just getting to a next level that we haven't seen before. So it's really
Thank you for pointing that out. One of the features personally I'm actually pretty excited about is a narrator capability we introduced in Windows, where the narrator isn't just word for word narrating the screen. Now the narrator has the ability to understand the screen and represent it in natural language. It's much more intuitive for people to understand versus piecing together, a bunch of words and text on a screen.
Yeah, this is a topic special to my heart because my father is bad-sighted as well. So I love this, hearing this.
Should certainly be helpful.
So impactful. Yeah. What would you recommend to people that are looking at AI but not using it today?
My suggestion would be to try it. I think today when we think about the world of Windows, we have a broad range of customers. We have a set of customers who deeply understand AI, helping us build products, giving us feedback, building the technologies, building on top of us. And then we have a cohort of customers and set of users who are, as you're describing it, who are early to the AI experience or have little understanding of AI. One of the things that I find delightful today is the way we are now starting to integrate Copilot as a companion for you in Windows itself. It's available in the taskbar, distributed across Windows 11, and allow you to get to kind of tasks that make sense for you in your flow of work. And so I think having the Copilot being available to you is a great starting point, and just experimenting and playing with it is one good option. The other great option that we have is the M365 Copilot. So if you're somebody who's productivity oriented and could use the boost in the context of your traditional productivity apps, or in terms of just searching and understanding and organizing and doing projects, the M365 Copilot is also a good way to find a way to augment your learning in the journey.
Yeah, I love that. And with Click to Do, it's getting kind of nested into the context menu of Windows 11, and you can do right click, scan the screen, and bring it into M365 Copilot. So short summary is get started right now because it's exciting.
That's right. I think there's plenty of options, and I think the purpose here is to find people where they're at in terms of the activities that are valuable to them, and us finding a way to be a part of that journey and contribute. So it shouldn't be hard to find a starting point.
That's great. It's a great way to kind of wrap up a little bit here as well. It has been a blast talking about
Absolutely.
How can people stay in touch with you? Maybe LinkedIn or social media?
Yeah, LinkedIn is a great resource. I try to stay active and listen, and we get a bunch of messages, and so we try to stay on top of feedback from folks as well as use it as a vehicle for sharing. So it is a great mechanism for us to stay connected.
I enjoy all the posts you do there on new announcements and such.
Thank you.
Hey, Pavan, it was a pleasure. Second time.
It's been a pleasure.
So
thank you.
Hope to see you back at some point.
Grateful for all the work. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.